Thanks for being here, everybody. Martyr. Martyr. It's a word derived from the Greek term for witness, explicitly, a bearer of witness to faith beyond life. Across Abrahamic religious tradition, the martyr stands near the throne of God. It is then little wonder that the stenographers of the Zionist entity so rarely report its casualties as such. For it is a state largely devoid of spiritual faith. It is no coincidence that its leaders and its citizens, in stark contrast to its Islamic neighbors, rarely affirm any connection to the divine. And yet, its political designation as the state of the Jews is wielding with an appalling ruthlessness. The specter of anti-Semitism is draped over the mandate of philo-Semitism. The mercenaries of mainstream media, morally bankrupt politicians, social media influencers, and shadowy think tank trustees manufacture and recycle myths of rising violence and grievance against the Jewish people, while simultaneously enacting policies demanding the supremacy of so-called Jewish safety over all else, least of all any mention of the wanton slaughter of Palestinians in Gaza. For what am I, a Jewish American, limited to in this country, in this world, on account of my faith? What institutions prohibit my entry? Which career path? Which university? Which neighborhoods am I excluded from? And yet the privilege which an overwhelming majority of Jewish leaders most zealously insist that the Jewish people possess is that which all Jews of conscience must fully and entirely reject, an eternal deed to the land of historic Palestine. The Jewish people, please, put me next to a Yemeni Jew, an Iraqi Jew, an Ethiopian, and tell me we share an ancestral homeland. This must be called exactly what it is. Zionism, yes, but more accurately, Jewish supremacy. How else can one describe the rationale between the 2018 Israeli nation-state law, the right to exercise national self-determination in the state of Israel is unique to the Jewish people? That's verbatim, regardless of the cost to the native inhabitants. As conscious Jews, we must refuse to participate in this system of Jewish supremacy, of colonialism, of displacement, and genocide. We must not be made complicit in the erasure and the extermination of the Palestinian people, the indigenous people who are not property owners promoting franchise opportunity, but children of the very land they have tended for millennia. For even if every clarion call to resist a rising tide of Jew hatred were true, it would be of very little significance at this moment. Well-meaning liberals, many of them Jewish, say that we need to center Palestinian voices. Now, this is a half-truth, shrouded in a colonial veil. Palestinians are the center. Palestine, and particularly Gaza, is the absolute center of the universe. Yes, it's true. International journalists must be allowed entry, but more importantly, the voices of the Palestinian journalists suppressed since long before October 7th, 2023, must finally be raised and must finally be acknowledged for the voices that they so desperately represent. For they have been covering their own destruction to a largely heedless world well before Al-Aqsa flood. Now the world is finally starting to listen and see. We see not only the first live-streamed genocide, but we see also the first live-streamed celebration of genocide. We see Israeli Jews posting photographs of seared Palestinian bodies, gleefully captioning and commenting about what they intend to bring to the barbecue. We see vending machines installed at observation points in Sderot to offer refreshment to the cheerful crowds watching the obliteration of an entire people. We see the frantic maps of carnage, the sinister ambition for elimination of everything, for omnicide, the destruction of the past, present, and future. We see the totality of a society trading blood libel for bloodlust. Now, 4 out of 10, 40% of American Jews, according to a recent Washington Post survey, believe that the state of Israel is committing genocide. How did that happen? It happened because of this. It happened because of all of you. It happened because of every Palestinian organizer in this country, around the world, that has so selflessly opened their hearts and their doors and their minds and their collectives to people like me. Now, this door only swings one way. For the thousands, perhaps millions, of people who awoke from their stupors of implicit Zionist programming to become ardent supporters of Palestinian liberation. My own 75-year-old mother, a year and a half ago, posted on Facebook, "I stand with Israel." She wears a keffiyeh everywhere she goes, and I'm so proud of her. Where are... For every supporter of Palestinian liberation who converted from their stupor of implicit Zionist programming, there's virtually none of the opposite. Where are the former supporters of Palestinian liberation who have seen the light and are now fighting for the survival of Israel? They don't exist. They're losing, and they know it. They will spare no expense to postpone the inevitable collapse. Now, friends, we are about to face a new onslaught of propaganda at the behest of the U.S.-Israeli political pipeline in the form of AI suppression and algorithmic apartheid, paired with the media takeover by such Jewish supremacists as Barry Weiss, Larry and David Ellison, and Joe Lonsdale. It will comprise what they call the new 12 tribes of Israeli influence on the American media landscape. And it will all be done under the guise of Jewish safety. But don't be fooled. They are in vain seeking to disrupt the narrative, but it's too late. The youth, the kids, every one of you, and more people every day already know we've seen too much. This propaganda will not, it cannot sufficiently bring the Zionist entity back from the brink upon which it has always existed on. Witness. The word martyr derives from the old Greek word for witness, and we must bear witness to these new tactics. We must never stop exposing their lies, their shortcomings, their banalities. We must not allow the countless martyrs to be forgotten, to fall into obscurity. And most of all, we must never stop demanding Palestine will be free. Thank you.